Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It is a new week and got lots of exciting things to talk about. And of course, you're seeing us now in beautiful full 1080p. So you're welcome, you lucky people. I wanted to start off this before we get into any WWE stuff. I wanted to kind of see you guys' thoughts on this. I'm sure you probably already know, but what are your thoughts on this?
Yes. I wanted to talk about this so bad because it's upsetting that whoever started the rumor that they signed with WWE now pisses me off. Because everyone I know knows how big of a fan of the Lucha Brothers and Pentagon Jr. I am, and I was so looking forward to seeing them come out soon. But with the rumors, though, Rey Fénix's contract got extended, but is Penta still going to come to WWE and do a solo thing until Rey is ready?
Yeah, maybe hype him up.
Yeah,
or get into a feud, and then
good to
something like that.
Yeah. No, I think it would be good to put him on for a little solo push before Ray gets over here. But I love how Tony Khan, he used to say Vince McMahon was his idol, and then he starts bashing him all of a sudden. And now we have this documentary come out, and I think he got inspired by the documentary and went back to back to Vince's old ways with this, because this is something right out of the Vince McMahon playbook that he would do.
I know. Injury time. God, I don't know. I'm no contract expert, but I just don't like that.
And with people like Miro that are vocal right now about not being happy with AEW and wanting to leave and all that stuff, I think this is Tony Khan's way of saying, don't mess with me. Yeah. And it's his way of, not just Rey Fénix and Penta, but other guys that are eventually want to leave and whatnot that have been injured. Because we know Miro's been injured and he's saying, I want to leave. Tony Khan could literally say, yeah, you have 2 years left on your contract, but remember that time you were injured? I'm adding time now. And you're just going to sit on the shelf until then.
Ugh, what a mess. I don't like it. I don't know. It just feels messed up to me. Like if you're under contract, I don't feel like they should be able to do that. Like, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It's shady, I think.
But that's part of and I understand why they do it, but I mean, because it is part of their contract. They say, hey, you're signed for 2 years. If you get injured for 3 months, you're not actually going to be doing what your contract says you're going to do. So we're going to add that time on so you fulfill your 2 full years in the ring. Yeah. But it's just stupid. If they're not happy, if they're ready to move on, just let them go.
Yeah. You don't want to pay them to be somewhere they don't want to be. They're not going to perform at an optimum level. Like, it's just, it's pointless. Waste of money, waste of time for everybody.
Yep. And I don't like that. Like they do in Hollywood with like some scripts where studios will buy them and then they'll shelf them so no one else can make money off them. Yep. And I understand that, but I still don't like it. It's like, I don't want Penta or Rey Fénix to go to WWE and make them money when they can stay here and sit on the shelf. Even if I have to pay them, they're not helping someone else. And I don't like that. That would be like you or me having a job and we're like, okay, we want to quit. And they're like, oh, wait, no, you took 2 weeks off because you were in the hospital. Now you have to wait 2 more weeks before you can leave.
Yeah. Nope. I would not be down for that. Nope. I had too many jobs that I didn't want to be at that I would be like, nope, sorry. I'm coming in and doing the bare minimum. That's all you're going to get from me.
Yep.
I guess there's so much to talk about. You want to recap or Mr. McMahon first?
It's up to you on that one because the McMahon thing we could talk about for a little bit.
I know. Well, let's just go into it. I mean, I don't know. Okay. Go ahead, and then I'll do mine.
One takeaway I got from this was because I haven't finished the last episode. I finished episode 6 or episode 5. Okay. And one person I can say I legit feel bad for in this whole documentary isn't McMahon, isn't any of the wrestlers. Well, he was, but I feel bad for Shane McMahon.
Yeah.
The way his dad treated him, the way he was like, he even talked about how his dad would have he was talking about how they were like play wrestling or something, and his dad like grabbed his hair and hit him when he was younger, and it's like his dad was like, "I cheat." It's like, and just the fact that Shane seemed like with the storyline with Linda, that Shane seemed to be the only one that was not comfortable with it, and it just, I feel bad for him out of the whole thing.
Yeah. Did you see a lot that you hadn't seen before?
Not much.
Yeah.
One thing I did see that I just found, and I've thought it was true for years, but the Owen Hart thing, when he passed away, and we all know the harness gave way, he fell and hit the ring.
Yeah.
The story that a lot of people like live by is that they still wrestled that event with Owen Hart's blood in the ring.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. There was and I can't remember who it was. I think it was one of the Hardys, but pre-show for that pay-per-view Over the Edge, there was a segment with that they had like a bloodbath type thing in the ring or on the like right at ringside, and that was some of the fake blood that was from that segment. It wasn't Owen Hart's. And
for years they'd shown that picture like from the side of the mat and was like, how'd they go on and do this show with this blood here? And
but that was from a pre-tape or a pre-show segment. It wasn't Owen Hart's, and they played that narrative for so long and I understand the show must go on. Yeah. And we all know Vince is a douchebag, but that is a narrative that they should have squashed a long time ago. And that wasn't something that, they should be using to make Vince look bad.
The main thing I took away from it that like made me super uncomfortable, and I saw people commenting about this as well, was the one in the beginning he was talking about that being accused of something or whatever, and he was like, well, I didn't do it, and even if I did it, the statute of limitations ran out. I was like, oh.
Yeah, it was the referee, that first female referee that you brought a lawsuit, and then all of a sudden, like the lawsuit was dropped or something. Yeah, and then he didn't pay her until after the statute of limitations was over. It's like, that doesn't make sense to me, there, buddy.
Yeah, that was. I mean, staying with the I didn't do it thing. Cool, that's fine. But then adding the other thing, it's like, oh, you did it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't say, even if I did it, the statute of limitations. It's like, but that just makes it look like you were guilty.
Yeah,
even more.
Yeah,
doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know. I think his tone a lot was kind of, I don't know. Calm interview Vince always just seems dishonest to me. I feel like a lot of what he was saying was probably accurate, like recounting memories and stuff like that. But like his demeanor was just inaccurate. And then the fact that he tried to buy it back and not get it published. And now there's rumors that he's going to produce his own documentary with an ex-WWE guy. Like
the one thing that I can honestly say, though, is we've seen the stories over the last few years with Vince and him leaving and TKO getting rid of him and all that stuff and all those stories. The documentary wasn't as damaging to him in that aspect as everyone thought it was going to be. Yeah, a lot of people that don't watch wrestling and don't know the Mr. McMahon character, which is really just him in real life, which he said it wasn't, but we all fucking know the truth. It wasn't as damaging as I thought it could have been. Yeah. Because they were filming it Vince got news of the 2021 lawsuit while he was in the middle of being interviewed, and he walked off set. So that could have been a whole new thing that they, got into, but they really didn't. So I mean, gotta say, though, the Owen Hart thing, even after all these years, seeing a little bit more of it and I think this was the first time I don't know if anyone else has seen the clips, but this is the first time that I actually saw them with Owen at ringside when they were working on him. And being a wrestling fan at that time and actually watching that pay-per-view after it happened, I got a little choked up and emotional.
Yeah.
It was like, holy crap.
The stuff with Brett, I really enjoyed. Like the way they did the screw job episode, like that was my favorite one. Like I loved how they weaved in all the stuff and the backstage stuff. And it's so funny, you know, thinking back to like being a fan back then and when that happened and stuff, like, and not knowing as much as we know now about it, but like kind of watching it all pieced together. It's like, man, that was messed up.
And it's weird going back as long as we've been fans.
Yeah.
Because you and I have been fans since the 90s and the 80s or whatever. And all the interviews that they had on regular TV around that time about the Owen Hart thing, I was young. I didn't watch the news as much. I didn't see those interviews and and I didn't pay attention to the court case about the steroids and all the lawsuit that Brett and Owen's wife brought against the WWE for a wrongful death. You know, I didn't pay attention to that back then. And now I'm seeing it and I'm like, okay. I was like, as much as we've talked shit about Brett over the last few weeks with the Goldberg thing.
I know. I feel bad for him.
It's like seeing him discuss that and relive that Owen Hart thing. You kind of feel for the guy. And it looked like that happening turned like Brett. He wasn't the same person after he left WWE, because he even said it. He was like, you know, I think Owen thought I hated him for staying. And that was just like he blamed himself so much, because he even said it in it, like wrenched my heart a little bit when he was like, I think he was like, at one point I thought they killed Owen to get back at me. And I was like, oh shit. You know, just thought.
One of the other ones that stuck with me was Stone Cold saying he didn't believe in CTE.
Oh my God. That caught me off guard a little bit.
Right? Not a CTE guy. Don't believe in it.
Yeah. Steve, I think you have CTE. You argue with cats on TikTok now.
I'm like, there's people out there that don't believe the world is round, but doesn't mean it's not true.
Yeah. Yeah. We've seen CTE, like the studies, you know.
Yeah.
Junior Seau killed himself, and in his suicide note, he said, now you can study my brain. I mean, and they found like even Aaron Hernandez, he had CTE. And although it doesn't excuse what some of these guys did with CTE, they still, you know, are douchebags, but you know, it is a thing.
Yep. Mike, what are your how do you like the Mr. McMahon series? What are your thoughts?
I think Mike froze.
I think so too. He messaged a second ago and said he was having some modem issues, so we'll see if he picks back up. But I enjoyed it. You know, a lot of it was recycled footage, stuff we'd seen in other things, and the Monday Night Wars and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of it we'd seen before, but I mean, I like the presentation of it. Really like them talking about the territories. I wish there was more documentaries that focused on the territory system back then. You know, because I liked the Von Erichs movie. I mean, you don't see a lot of content about that time period. Yeah. And it's really interesting, and how shrewd Vince was back then. And like, yeah, I find that interesting. I would love to see more about that, but it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, because people said for years, you know, and Vince never really touched on it back, like over the years, you know. He told his dad he wasn't going to compete against other territories, but then he did. Vince never really acknowledged that in interviews or on screen or anything. But the fact that he, you know, I did tell my dad I wouldn't compete, but I did, you know.
I did it anyway. I'm like, whatever.
It's like, you're a dick.
I'm Vince. I do what I want.
But looking back on it now, you have to think to yourself, wrestling wouldn't be what it is today.
No.
And as much as he's an asshole, we wouldn't have the product we have today without him.
Yeah. One quote that stood out to me was, I think it was Bischoff that said it, was that the Mr. McMahon character was a copy of evil Eric Bischoff. I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, sure, you can.
I think to a point it was. And even Vince, was like, Bischoff probably said that, I stole the character from him. He was like, that's his prerogative, or that's his opinion. But even if I did steal it, I did it better, which he did.
Yeah, by a lot. Yeah, absolutely. Evil Eric was just kind of like, he was like an entitled prick, but McMahon was much better as like an evil billionaire.
Evil Eric Bischoff was the boss that you hate. The douchebag boss that makes you do things you don't want to do.
Yep.
Evil Vince, evil Mr. McMahon was making out with Trish Stratus in front of his wife, the adulterer, the cheat, the liar, everything. Yeah,
like that was that was a completely different thing. And that's the part you have to kind of separate, is like the McMahon who revolutionized the industry, just to be honest. The Mr. McMahon character on TV, who was a big part of the Attitude Era, you can separate that from the other stuff.
Yeah.
The other stuff is really messed up. But looking at as a whole, did a lot.
I think Vince is seriously, if it would have been a completely different story for him if he would have went to therapy in the 90s, when you realized that he couldn't separate the wrestling from his real life. Like when he, didn't need surgery, but he did it just so he could wear that neck brace to court during the steroid case.
Yeah.
And get sympathy for it.
Yep.
It's like, you're not your character. Be a real person off screen.
It was interesting to hear more about that steroid thing. Yeah, like you said, like we were much younger back then, so I wasn't paying attention to that. Like, just wasn't watching it at all.
We heard about it here and there, but we didn't actually sit down and be like, oh, Vince had court today. Let me go look on the news to see what happened. Exactly. We didn't have YouTube to go to see, interviews after the court case. So we were kids not paying attention. We were worried about going outside, playing, and then coming in to watch wrestling or play Nintendo.
Oh, Tony Atlas, man. I loved him in this. It was awesome.
God. When he was like, because when they touched on the the Pat Patterson thing? And they were like, oh yeah, Pat Patterson was pretty much innocent in a lot of it. He didn't. But then Tony Atlas was like, yeah, Pat Patterson touched my pecker.
Yeah, I fell out. I was like, bro.
I was like, did Tony Atlas just say pecker?
And you know what's funny about that is that was probably like, they were probably editing that episode and there was all this extra stuff they wanted to cut out or put in and stuff like that. And they were all like, that was probably the last thing. They were like, do we want to put this Tony Atlas pecker thing? Yeah, don't cut that. Leave it in.
Yep, that's going to be on TikTok tomorrow.
That's going to be the one thing everybody clips from this.
Yep.
He's a super.
Pat Patterson touched my pecker.
He's a super nice guy. I don't think I told this story before. We met him in Oklahoma, I think it was, and he was coming out of a casino and was doing like a wrestling convention or a show or something like that. And we were walking and I was like, oh my God, it's Tony Atlas. And he came over and was like, I was talking to him a little bit and I was kind of showing him, like the tobacco products and stuff I do for work. And he was like, you want me to shoot a promo? And I was like, yeah.
Hell yeah.
He shot this video promo that we used and didn't charge for it. And then he took some of what I used and was using it for a while because he was dipping on like Copenhagen whenever I met him. And I was like, Tony Atlas is a dipper. That's insane.
That's awesome.
But super nice, like really nice guy.
I remember the documentary. I can't remember if it was on MTV or what it was on when he was homeless.
Mm-hmm.
And he was on drugs and all that stuff. And that's when because I watched him as a kid, but
yeah,
this documentary and then that one too shined a whole new light on, behind the scenes of what they go through, just like the Jake the Snake Roberts thing they did on him, that when he was reunited with his daughter. But I wish they would do more of that kind of stuff.
I know. I would love to see more like that. Like, that's cool because a lot of these guys, they're not getting any younger, so it's like you kind of have to before they,
One thing, if I could ever petition WWE to do any kind of documentary or anything like this Mr. McMahon one,
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see a documentary on the Undertaker and his whole crew. Was it 3BK or whatever it was? And his whole crew behind the scenes and how they acted and what they did and the stories they could tell, and also the Click.
I know. I don't think there was one on the Click that I saw that was good. I think it was in the Ruthless Aggression on documentary on Peacock, that series. I think there was an episode on the Click there, or maybe the Monday Night Wars. I can't remember. There was one, but yeah, there's a lot more they could do about the Click. Like most of the time, whenever they mention the Click, they're like, yeah, DX was an offshoot of the Click or something like that. But there's really not that much on just like the Click in that era. I'd love to see more on that. And
how they broke kayfabe that night in the steel cage. And I wish they would go more in depth on that and how it led up to, you know, them leaving and starting the NWO and DX and how they all interacted still behind the scenes. And
what a lot of people don't know, like these, the newer fans, like everything, they all get a look behind the curtain now. There's no there's no separation. I remember when I was little, it was very much like this was all real, and nobody really doubted it, at least in my friends group, until that Beyond the Mat came out in like 1999 or whenever that was. And that's when I was like, holy crap, this is fake. Yep. And then getting older now, it's like people watch stuff like this and they're using like carny terms and they're talking about heat and stuff like that. And just everybody out and out saying this is predetermined. Like, it's crazy because it wasn't like that before. So it's kind of wild how different things are compared to, you know, like 20 years ago.
Yep. It was like Ric Flair said in an interview. He said marks or fans that use insider terms like heel and face and heat and all that stuff. He's like, fans that use that aren't in the industry, he said it's disrespectful.
Interesting.
But we all, once, you know, it became a soap opera and everyone started realizing it was fake and predetermined and that these were just characters. They weren't real. Like we saw in the McMahon documentary, Undertaker even said it. He's like, I tried to keep this character 24/7.
Yep.
And that's what they did back then. Now it's like these older guys are starting to hate the younger talent because they will fight in the ring, like Charlotte and Nia Jax and Becky Lynch. They were all feuding in the ring. But then on TikTok, you saw them
they're doing dances and
Yep. And like, oh, it's my best friend. And Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax were fighting for the title. But then Alexa Bliss posts on TikTok or on Instagram that they're best friends going to Disney together.
It's kind of like that Total Divas show. I'll admit I watched it just because it showed a lot of backstage stuff in wrestling. But that never would have got made before, like showing all that stuff, how they're all like best buds. Like that never would have happened in the 90s.
Oh, not at all.
Well, I guess we'll see if Mike jumps back on. He said he was having signal issues, so if he pops back in, we'll give him a little greeting. I guess to do these recap, I want to save NXT for last because that was obviously the highlight of the week. But to do the minor shows real quick, not much of consequence. Speed on September 25th, Candice LeRae defeated Piper Niven, which destroyed my bracket.
Yep, destroyed mine too.
September 26th on Main Event, Karrion Kross defeated Akira Tozawa. Lyra Valkyria defeated Zoe Stark. And then over on Level Up on September 27th, my boy wasn't on there, but Tyson and Tyreek defeated Uriah Connors and Cale Dixon. Channing Lorenzo defeated Jasper Troy. Sol Ruka defeated Danny Palmer.
You got to take a week off to celebrate once you get a win.
Yeah, I mean, I did look on Cage Match and I saw the results of his next match, so I kind of spoilered myself. I need to find... Oh, there was a tweet the other day that was so funny with Karrion Kross and I'm trying to remember who all was in there. Oh man, what was that? It was like not too long ago. Scarlett tweeted something, and Scarlett was in a match with someone else, and she tweeted out, "I didn't know I could bend this way." And then Karrion Kross commented on that post and was like, "I did," and I was like, "Oh shoot."
Was that the match against? Wait, who was? Oh, I don't think that was with Rhea Ripley, because Rhea Ripley posted a picture of her pinning someone. I couldn't tell who it was. That was the other day.
Oh man, it was so funny. Maybe it was Rhea. I don't know.
It was like a dark match or a live event.
Yeah, and I saw that comment from Karrion Kross, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's so good."
Yeah, because she did the pin like she normally does, but she was like whoever was under her was folded in half, and she was sitting on top of her.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Holy crap!"
Yeah, and I saw that, and it's like, "Oh man, that's awesome." So yeah, pretty standard shows. Sol Ruka got a win, so good stuff there. Not much I have other than my bracket for speed is screwed.
Yep.
We'll see.
I was thinking Piper
goes.
Niven was going to win it or at least make it to the finals.
Yeah, that I figured at least for one of the final matches. So yeah. Well, there goes that one. I don't think Candice LeRae will win it though. Like, she's kind of WWE doesn't do much with her.
No.
So we'll see. We'll see, I guess. So, anyways, not too much going on over on the minor end. Over to SmackDown on September 27th. Still waiting on them to change that logo. Number one contender for the WWE's Women's Championship, Bayley defeated Naomi. Best of 7. This feels like it's going on forever. Match 6, Carmelo Hayes defeated Andrade. Michin defeated Piper Niven, and the Bloodline defeated RKO. So how are we enjoying SmackDown on USA since the change?
It's gotten better.
Yeah.
It was starting to get stale without Cody being involved in the Bloodline as much, other than with the solo matches. Without Roman, it's now starting to pick up, and we're starting to get more tension with Cody and KO and Randy and like when at the beginning when they were talking about the tag team match for the main event, and Cody was like, "There's 3 of us. There's 3 of you," and then KO was like, "Oh no, buddy." He's like, "You had your time. It's our time to have a tag match. Go sit down. We got this."
Yep.
I mean, that was amazing to me. I got chills. I was like, "Oh damn!" I was like, "It's gonna happen."
Jacob Fatu is getting a lot of love. I've been loving seeing people on Twitter or on Reddit or some other places, people that aren't familiar with him, and they're like, "This dude's awesome," and I'm like, that's why we were so hyped about him for like weeks before he debuted. Like, yeah, I knew this was going to happen, and
he debuted before Tonga Loa did, and when I thought it was going to be Tonga Loa coming out that week or at that pay-per-view, and it was Jacob Fatu, I literally jumped up and lost my shit. I'm glad he's fighting, because I like followed him through Ring of Honor and MLW and all that stuff. So I'm glad people are starting to notice him.
I don't think we talked about this on the last episode. The Hikuleo name.
Oh God! If they really go with Longa Tonga, I'm gonna lose my mind.
They're getting too. Oh man, it's so bad.
Tonga was still stupid in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because I told him, I made a joke to my friend. I was like, they're gonna call him Paula Tonga because he's taller than all the rest of them. Now the Longa Tonga makes no sense.
No. They're so confusing now. It's like the Usos I got confused with. I couldn't tell the difference between them because they were twins. But like the Tongas, I'm not gonna remember any of their names because they're like all over the place.
Yep.
Apologize for the technical issues. I think I got them worked out now.
Oh well, before we continue on SmackDown, let's pop back and get your thoughts on Mr. McMahon.
So I didn't think it was great. I didn't think it was bad. It was good. It had its ups and downs. It was interesting to hear his perspective on certain things. I definitely don't think it was a double shovel burial like they were advertising it to be, because I think they just wanted to get that more to pique people's interest and get the viewership up. But one thing I think is this Netflix deal has been in the making for a while, and when they originally started filming this, Vince already knew that this was going to move to Netflix eventually, and he wanted to spark up interest in the wrestling and within wrestling for people that hadn't watched it before, so they could get caught up on a quick history of it. But it was okay. It wasn't I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It had its ups and downs. There were parts I enjoyed and parts I was sort of bored with. So overall, I was pleased with it.
That's an interesting take because we saw a lot of people come into Reddit that were commenting about the documentary that were not wrestling fans that had not watched wrestling before. So that's an interesting take. If that's, I mean, that would make sense. But a lot of people were like, yeah, this is the first thing I've watched about this. So maybe, yeah, good way to get people into Netflix. Some people are going to watch it and be like, I want any part of this, but some are a good intro because it does recap an awful lot.
Yeah. And I completely agree, Mike. There was parts of it, you know, us as wrestling, because we don't look at it from the eyes of people who haven't watched wrestling.
Yeah.
And are just scrolling through Netflix. It's like, oh, let me see what this is about. We've seen a lot of these stories in other documentaries and other DVDs or whatever over the years. So yeah, there were parts that were a little boring because we've seen them a million times.
Yeah.
You know, the Monday Night Wars stuff, talking about WCW spoiling Monday Night Raw because it was taped. You know, that part of that episode was boring. I completely get that.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff we've seen in multiple different forms and in multiple different documentaries. So, I mean, for most of us, we're probably like, well, we've seen that, already knew that. There were not many things you walked away from after seeing it if you're like in this that you didn't know. But like a lot of people, first timers, they probably learned a good bit. I mean, especially going back to like the territories, a lot of people didn't know where all this stuff came from. So I think some of the new folks probably got a good dose of history.
Yeah, and I'm going to make a little bit of a prediction here. So we've seen what happened with Diddy. We've seen when the lawsuit was filed, right around the Netflix deal. I believe it was 2 days after it, 2 days before it. I bet Raw debuts on Netflix around January. My guess is we will see a RICO charge against Mr. McMahon right around that same time. Seeing it's been a year from then, and they like to put it around those dates when they make those announcements. And another thing I've seen online too is a lot of people saying, "Oh, why didn't he give the business to Stephanie?" Well, another thing is if he gets charged with RICO and that business is still in his family, they could try to seize it from him. So, and as we learned from this documentary, he does everything to protect that business. So that's a big reason why I think he sold.
Which makes sense, because that's what a lot of us were saying back then was just put Stephanie in charge of it. You know, her and Papa H. Yeah.
Or even Shane. But keeping it in the family, they would have tried to seize it because they would have found out that Stephanie and Shane, you know, had knowledge of things that happened. So
and Papa H is not like technically listed as an owner. He's a chief content officer. So even though he's connected to the family, it's not something they can pull away.
Another thing too that makes me think this is coming too is supposedly there's a lot of rumors that Brock's coming back, and if he got cleared of no wrongdoing, he might be snitching on Vince. So that's another thing.
He might be pulling a fucking Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, but except he could be actually going through with what he's saying. That's the difference, not do a 360 at the end. So that's just something that makes me think this investigation is nearing its end, and you're going to see something happen with it sooner rather than later, especially with him being in supposedly poor health.
For those not familiar, Brock was added back to the active roster on the WWE website. So I would like to see him come back and face Gunther, but I don't want him to bury Gunther. But that's one of my matches I've been looking forward to.
Looking like a fan booking. We see Cody and Roman aligning together now. They bring Brock back to join them.
That could happen. I could definitely see that.
Now that Roman's a face and Cody's with him, we see, you know, the Roman Empire is people that Roman feuded with while he was part of the bloodline. Now he's bringing them all back to face the bloodline.
Pop would blow the roof off. Like,
let me text Papa H right quick.
You need to go ahead and get that one in there.
I do have. Oh my God. I was doing and I still have the phone number. I was doing at the DCU Center in Worcester. I got lucky enough to a friend of mine helps WWE set up in the area, unload the truck, set up the rings and all the sets and all that.
Nice.
And I crushed my foot under one of the rolling production carts. I was sitting there icing my foot. and I was sitting on one of the production crates, and right next to me was, it was pretty much if you need to get in touch with Triple H, or Paul Levesque had said, call his assistant, and it had his assistant's phone number on it so they could put it on the door. And I took a picture of it and still have it. I should call it right now with my ideas. Can I get through to Paul real quick? I got
that stable, but with Paul Heyman running it, would be the best thing I've seen in this business in as long as I can remember.
CM Punk could be in that group too if Heyman's running it. Let's not count him out.
I think he's got a feud with Ethan Page coming up.
I don't know if he'll have to throw his shorts on.
I think if he wins this Hell in a Cell match, which I predict him to, they teased it before when he said he was done with Drew. We're going to see him face Gunther maybe at Crown Jewel. I heard they wanted to do that Brock Gunther match at WrestleMania. I believe, this past WrestleMania, they obviously weren't because of the allegations. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go back to that too, from what I heard, because I read a story today where he could be replacing Braun Breaker in that feud, possibly, how they teased that last night.
Well, I wouldn't mind a Brock and Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
That'd be a good
Will we see the end of NXT actually mean anything, though, with CM Punk?
I don't know.
Or was that just a one-off segment? Ethan Page talked shit to him and he just GTF'd him or GTO'd?
Pretty much, probably, yeah. Did they... I'm trying to think back in AEW. I don't recall them having much interaction. I don't remember though.
No.
Yeah.
What'd you guys think about that segment with Alexis King last night?
Oh my god.
That was not needed. And you want to talk about pettiness? Holy crap!
Who was it that CM Punk was in the ring with? Oh no, that was Edge. Never mind. Edge, and was it Ethan Page when he called him The Rock and he stole his gimmick from The Rock?
Mm-hmm.
That was Ethan Page.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything with them interacting much. So yeah, no. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you guys read this or not, if you read people complaining online last night. I mean, this isn't really results or spoilers or anything, but apparently people on the West Coast cannot watch NXT live. There is no local streaming platform to where they can watch it live. They have to watch it on the delay 3 hours later.
Yep, I had to do that when I was in California with Monday Night Raw when it was live.
The only way I've seen that you can watch it is there are certain someone told me there's a way you can do it with a proxy. But some of those you have to pay for. So on top of if they're paying for I think Fubo had it or Hulu Plus Live, on top of that an extra charge for a proxy or unlocator or something like that. It's kind of messed up.
Yeah. Yep.
And then if you don't have a DVR or anything like that, you can't watch Raw or SmackDown. You're having to wait 30 days for it to come to Peacock. All this is just wild.
I mean, the streaming services, they should stream it live, but for the people that actually still have cable, it should be delayed like they have it now.
Yeah,
because otherwise, the ratings on the West Coast would be shit because of the people that have cable. They're not home at 4 or 5 in the afternoon to watch it.
Yeah,
they're still on their way home from work or just getting out of work. So,
and even with me. Even with Main Event, they're still recording Main Event shows. I saw before Raw, but now they're not going to be airing them until 3 weeks after they record them on Peacock, I believe.
Oh Lord,
it's a mess. It's it would be so much easier if they just kept the WWE network and just put all their content on there and just sold that they already had a base for it. I've been saying that for years. Charge $50 a month for Raw, SmackDown, NXT, all the other stuff, and the pay-per-views. People would pay it.
Just like TNA's.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying just like TNA's.
Yeah, but business-wise, they saved a crap ton of money and made a crap ton of money selling it. Yeah. Now Peacock has and Netflix will have that added cost of the servers and a lot of that. So.
Yeah, that makes it better. I mean, we already have Hulu and Netflix and Peacock and all that, because like I watch some, the kids watch something else. Like we have to have all these, but like a lot of people, like just common people out there, don't get more than one streaming service. Like my parents for the longest time only had Netflix. Like a lot of people just, they don't get all these different platforms. So unless you're like really into it, you don't have all this stuff.
Yeah.
But I on Hulu Plus Live, I have that with the DVR and I can watch anything. It records all of them, so that's fine. And I already have Netflix, so I'm looking forward to what the Netflix show is going to look like. I'm really excited about that. I think there's a lot of potential there, and I think that's going to be the one to watch out of all of them. But again, 3-hour SmackDown could be even better. I mean, who knows?
But now there's speculation that Netflix is going to be bringing commercials during Raw, which everyone thought wasn't going to happen.
Mm-hmm. I had held out hope that it would be ad-free, but realistically, you guys have all been to live events, same as I have. They have to tear down between a lot of matches from time to time. So they're not going to be showing that. They have to have a break. It's the same with the pay-per-views on Peacock. They'll run some kind of sponsored message or something. So, I mean, there's those times where they have to tear down between the matches, or the talent walks out, or they do stuff at the event that's just for the live crowd. Like, they're not going to televise all that. So I don't see it being 2 hours straight of no commercials, unless they're doing like video packages or something. Like if you pay for the premium Peacock and you get those good video packages, they might do that, but I don't see anything else.
We have a Torn in chat. Yeah, if they do the tiers, because don't they have different Netflix tiers?
Yeah.
So the highest, if they do it that way, then the premium tier of Netflix probably won't have commercials. Which, if that's the case, I already have the highest tier. And I also pay an extra $8 a month for someone outside of my household to be able to use my Netflix, because they do that now.
Whichever one we have, it's $25 a month. I don't know what that one is.
Yeah, that's the highest tier.
Okay. Because I think we got it for like the 4K. So yeah, I think that's it. That's one thing I'm looking forward to.
It was Xfinity.
So I guess we'll go over to Raw, and then we'll wrap up with NXT.
There's a lot on Raw.
I know, there's a lot going on here. So September 23rd, Sammy defeated Ludwig, Dragon Lee defeated Carlito, Damage Control defeated the Unholy Union, the Creed Brothers defeated the New Day, and Jey Uso defeated Braun Breaker to win the title. And then on September 30th, Xavier Woods defeated Rey Mysterio, Zoe Stark defeated Lyra Valkyria, the Judgment Day defeated the LWO, Chad Gable defeated Kofi Kingston, and the Authors of Pain defeated the Awesome Truth, ending with the last monster standing, Braun Strowman defeating Bronson Reed.
What books did they write? I freaking love that.
Mrs. Heel turn.
Before we go any further about talking about Raw, Yeet, because
I know I
have
a thing for that. I didn't have this card. Did you guys see on WWE Shop the Dominic Mysterio toilet paper?
I love that Rhea referenced it on Raw on this past Monday. It was amazing.
It was great.
It was great.
But yes, to give the man his shots, why we're having the YEETcast. I know I actually have that, and we can talk about it. So there's the new belt, kind of a throwback to the old one. As a belt collector myself, I really like it. I didn't like the previous IC title. I think this one's much better.
I love it you're on belt collector groups on Facebook, right, Chad?
Yeah.
There's been a lot of collectors that have actually modded their own belts the same way, and they've been doing it since that belt came out.
Yeah. That's funny.
That was great. I cracked up when she said that.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, I was surprised. I mean, we had talked about it before, but I mean, I think we all predicted that before, because we did a show right before that one that Jay was probably going to win. So as predicted, yeah. And it's good they give it to him, because I mean, if the brother's coming back, Jimmy, and they're going to reunite him, it's nice that all that work he's done on his own, like he finally gets something for it. So well deserved, I think.
With Jay winning the title, a lot of people there, because there was rumors, a lot of people were saying that going into Netflix, they were going to push Braun Breaker as one of the top guys.
Yep.
And now a lot of people are saying, now that and I can't remember who it was in a podcast, maybe I busted open, but I can't remember. Somebody said that, Braun must have done something backstage to piss someone off. to let him to have him drop the title, but then he confronted Gunther on Raw this past week.
Yep.
So I'm wondering, because we all know my love for Gunther. I wonder if they're going to put Braun Breaker as the champion going on to Netflix.
Yep.
Too soon, in my opinion. I wouldn't be surprised if they do it, but I just wouldn't do it myself. Give him some time. I'm sure he's still under contract for a while. He just got up to the main roster. We don't need to do this right away.
On the subject of Raw, what do y'all think about the Wyatt 6 promo? Who do you think the lady is?
I thought it was when they showed her on this past Monday. I thought it was Nikki Cross. It looked kind of like Nikki.
It does, yeah. But some people were saying it's Alexa. I think everybody just wants Alexa in it. I think they're just looking for stuff that's not
because
there.
Alexa's teasing a comeback on Instagram. Like at least twice a week, she's posting about it. So
I know they. I follow their Twitter, and I think that they're. I know they're trying to lure Braun Strowman back in, and we had talked about that.
Yeah, he's injured now. He's out for a little while.
Yeah.
Do you guys think these are actually real injuries between what happened to him and Dragunov? I'm sure they very well could be.
I don't
Seeing
think so.
Raw is going back down to 2 hours. Are they just saying that these are injuries cut guys to make it look like, oh, we're not burying them, we're just keeping them off TV?
Yeah,
I know the Ilya Dragunov one looked like it was a legit injury.
Mm-hmm.
With the Braun Strowman one, with the teasers of Braun with the Wyatt 6, I think this is a way to get him off TV and then slowly transition into the Wyatt 6.
I was kind of torn on that because like a long time ago, I loved when they split him off and he did a solo run. Like when he was hot, he was hot. But like now they're not really doing much with him. So now it's kind of like, well, why not put him back in there? I mean, what else is he going to do?
Yep. And with Alexa possibly coming back, you know, there's a lot of chemistry there between all of them.
And I don't want them to become, you know, like NWO Hollywood and all that stuff and have like 87 members. But I mean, storyline wise, it fits to have Braun and Alexa in there.
Yeah. Turn them into like a cult type thing like the Wyatt family was originally. And because bringing in, and I'm the same way, I don't want it to turn into the NWO and have a million members. But Alexa, Braun Strowman, they have history with the Wyatt family. So
every time. But
yeah, I wouldn't mind them being in it. That to me wouldn't be overkill. Oh yeah, Torn.
Yeah, could say that.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
That would actually be kind of cool because Braun and Alexa were a mixed tag team for a while.
Little Big or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they used to travel together. They have history. So, and I wonder if it would be Alexa controlling Braun to come back to face the Wyatt 6 to give them that. You know, you guys aren't really the Wyatt family. We are. We were the originals. And then
it becomes Bo and Rowan and like Braun or something, like the OG crew. And then Alexa, I guess, if you have to, because she did work with the Fiends. So yeah, but yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I was wondering if you guys noticed last night, I believe I don't know who exactly was coming in the building, but they had Raquel Rodriguez on a production truck, and then the next segment after that, when Finn and Dom were talking, he said, "I took care of that business." And seeing Dom's in a shark cage, do we think Raquel Rodriguez comes back during this match, whether she costs Liv the championship or costs Rhea the match?
I wonder if I think she'd probably, because we want to see the champion, you know, not feud with just one person forever.
Right.
So I would think that she would come back to, because her and Rhea together in the ring, they're two big girls. They're dominant, women. So I think that feud would be worth it, and let Liv move on to something new. Yep. Or Charlotte Flair come back to feud with Liv. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, automatic championship match right off the bat.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, you already know. Yep.
She comes in the ring and blinks, and she's the champion.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. There's not a chance, and she's going to get the Speed Championship, and then she's going to get them all.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll pop over to NXT. We're not going to talk about the Braun match and the ring collapsing.
I saw a video coming. I saw a video on Twitter that was from like what people saw when they were there. I don't know. I like that stuff. I'm all for it. Yep. Do it. It's fine because they don't do it all the time, so it's not stupid to me. You knew it was going to happen because someone pointed out that the ring apron. They haven't had a regular ring apron on the ring in years. That LED board's always been around the ring, and they didn't have that at Raw.
It's just the international shows that have the ring apron usually.
And then my friend Rachel pointed out, like right before it happened, because I was like, because when Braun got on the top rope, I was like, oh, the ring's about to collapse. She pointed out that the ring apron on the right-hand side was moved, and you could see that the ring post had a contraption on it or something connected to it, so that way when he hit, it kicked the ring post out.
Mm-hmm.
But the ring really didn't collapse; just the two ring posts gave way.
Oh, speaking of, good point. I don't have the picture. I wish I had it with me. He looks like Seth again.
Yes, I'm so happy he didn't come out dressed in something weird. I'm hoping he doesn't anymore.
Yeah, like looks normal again.
Yep, I hope he's back to being that, like he was after the Shield.
Yeah, like that Seth. Yeah, that's the one you want to see. So, yeah, I'm hopeful. When I saw the outfit, I was like, thank freaking gosh! Like, oh, he doesn't look stupid right now.
Yep, he looks like Hangman coming out to the ring.
Yeah.
When I saw somebody running towards the ring, I literally, because the hair was down and he was wearing a black jacket, for a second I was like, why is Drew McIntyre running to the ring? And then when he got in, he had that goblin run. Yep. And when he got in the ring, I was like, oh, there's Seth.
What did we think about the promo with McIntyre and Punk with the callback to Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker with Drew wearing all black and CM Punk wearing all white? That was a good promo going into Bad Blood, I thought.
I love the callback because Bad Blood this weekend is the anniversary of the first Hell in a Cell match.
Yep.
So that callback was actually really awesome.
I'm excited about it. I've heard good things out of our local marching band and the coordination and stuff and what's planned there. So it's going to be pretty cool. I'm pretty stoked about it.
Larry going to start Cage over the Hell in a Cell.
Larry on a forklift.
Larry on a pole match.
We haven't had a good one of those in a while. They got kind of gimmicky for a while, but I mean, they could bring it back and make it cool again. Like
we have a custody of Dom match finally.
The last Shark Cake match I remember was the was it what's his name, James Ellsworth? Was that the last like major one we had?
Oh,
they put Jericho up in the Royal Rumble. That's one I remember.
That was when he was with KO.
Yeah, the list. Yep.
Yeah. The list. You made the list.
That was my favorite run Jericho did. That final WWE run with the list and oh man, it was great. You know what you did? You know?
You made the list.
Okay, so over to NXT, September 24th. I have two different ones because I want to contrast the logos with the new logo. So this is this is old NXT. September 24th, Kalani Jordan defeated Ren Sinclair to retain the title. Hank and Tank defeated the OC. Lexis King defeated Oro Mensah. Ridge Holland defeated Riley Osborne. Wendy Chu and Rosemary defeated Carmen Petrovic and Brinley Reese. And A-Town Down Under defeated Cedric Alexander and Javon Evans. So, thoughts from this show, and then we'll transition to the new logo.
The only thing is I'm sick of seeing the OC lose. I hope with AJ coming back this week that they bring them back to SmackDown and they have a proper faction.
Because I'm pretty sure AJ's in his last run. Like, I've read recent interviews and stuff like that, and he's like, I don't have that much left in the tank. So, like, whatever they're doing with him, like, give him a good run.
When he signed this new contract, he signed it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He said that's the last contract he's going to sign ever.
Yeah.
And now that WWE has a working partnership with TNA, I hope they allow him to have one more match or at least one more short run in TNA.
Yeah, because he was one of the best parts of like good TNA. So yeah,
he's the reason I watched TNA back when, I don't know if you guys watched it at the beginning, but you had to actually pay $8.99 a week to watch TNA on pay-per-view every Wednesday night.
I'm good.
He was the reason I would watch that. Him and
so you were that big of a Jeff Jarrett fan, huh?
Oh God, I hate Jeff Jarrett. But that was right around the time that Ron Killings had debuted in TNA.
R-Truth.
Yeah.
Yep, R-Truth was there. So I used to watch it every week because of those two.
Was anyone else mourning for R-Truth? Anyone else
he'll be
in sadness? He'll be okay.
Yeah, he'll be okay.
What happened?
It was time for the Miz to go heel.
Yeah.
Oh, the heel turn. Yep.
Yeah.
I started watching TNA when it was on Spike TV, right around the time when Bischoff and Hogan brought in the Immortal group, I believe it was.
And you had the Joker Sting.
Yep.
That was one of the best Sting characters I had ever seen.
Yeah. He was having so much fun with that run.
Yep. And I loved the Crow Sting, but that was one of his best characters.
Yeah, it'd be that one, and then Crow Sting, and then Surfer Sting.
Yep.
So, a pretty decent show. I think a good last show of the NXT run. I like the PC arena setup for NXT compared to last night. I know last night was kind of a different thing, it was like a stadium show or whatever. So I'm hoping when they go back to PC shows that it'll be like the same stage, but I don't know if they will or not. So
there's rumors that, well, not rumors, it's been confirmed by many sources that WWE has cleared out the PC center and they're redoing the whole set.
Okay. Gotcha. I was liking it. I mean, I was good with it. So to transition here, what do we think of the new logo? My first thought that I found interesting was that they put WWE on it. Like,
yeah,
that is curious.
I think that was probably something that CW probably wanted because fans know NXT as a wrestling brand.
Yeah,
we know NXT's part of WWE.
Yeah,
and I think CW was like, we want our people that watch our channel to know that NXT is WWE.
Yeah.
So that way, if they see WWE, they'll tune in. And I don't know if you guys saw the fast ratings, but after last night, 143% turnaround on viewership from last week alone. They had almost 1 million viewers last night. It was like 984,000 on the fast ratings.
Let's see what Dynamite is this week.
2.5.
That's the difference between network television and cable, though, because you don't need to have cable, so you're going to get a lot more audience. That's why that SmackDown number was always higher on Fox. But one thing about this logo that I love is they made it silver. It'll never be black and gold, and it takes a silver medal to it.
Yep. Because this can be called like the black and silver era. But then but which would make sense because black and gold was the best NXT, probably always will be the best NXT. So this being silver could be secondary to that. And then Lisa Frank NXT would come after that.
It's not silver. It's platinum.
Oh,
it's better than gold.
We'll see. Or they're going to have to do a lot of work to do that, to get it up to that level in a lot of people's eyes.
I just don't like how shiny the new belts are.
Yeah, I have those.
Under the lights of the stadium, they like you couldn't really tell what was on the front of them at first.
Yeah.
When Sean unveiled them, it's like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, I don't own an NXT replica, I don't think.
I gave mine to my friend.
Yeah, I don't think I own one. I don't think I've ever had the interest to get one. I like the North American one though. I might get that one, but Yeah, I don't own a standard NXT title. I guess I like the old one, like the Bobby Roode era, like with the big X. Like I like that one.
Yeah, I didn't like that one. That one was. I don't know why. Just the big X was like, what is it? WWE X Division? What the heck is going on here?
Yeah, I guess so. I'll read these real quick. Roxanne Perez defeated Julia. Wes Lee defeated Zach Wentz. Fatal Influence defeated Lola Vice and Jada Parker. Trick Williams defeated Ethan Page. That one was surprising. I didn't expect that. Like, that's so fast for NXT.
Yeah.
They just wanted to put the belt on an AEW guy like they always do when he comes over for 6 weeks and drop it. There's not what more could Ethan Page have really done with that belt, especially with, I believe, Tony D's going to take that North American Championship off Obafemi. So if you weren't going to have Trick take it off of him, you can't put it on Obafemi this quick. I just don't see who the next guy would be you could put that on right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Joe Hendry would have been nice, but I don't know when we're going to see him again. We might not see him till the Royal Rumble again.
Because he's probably going to get the TNA title, I bet. So
yeah,
probably.
I think they're going to bring. I'm hoping they bring Nick Nemeth over to NXT, have him lose the title, and then he comes over.
Was anybody else expecting Motor City Machine Guns last night?
I'm expecting him next week. I was expecting him this week, but I'm hoping next week.
They want to compete with Title Tuesday, so I think I'm hoping they save most of the good surprises next week, because this was a very underwhelming debut episode, to say the least.
We had Cora Jade come back.
I'm glad to see her back. Like I thought she was going to be out a lot longer from that injury that happened, but we need more than that. This is a network television debut show.
I was expecting to see Stephanie come out and interfere in that match, not Cora Jade.
Yeah, that was surprising. Yeah, I mean,
when I first saw somebody come with the hood pulled over, I was like, "Oh, Stephanie's out," and then I was like, "Oh wait, no, it's not."
They teased Delta too for what is it, 10/27 show, I believe it was.
Yep.
I think the show was good for what it was, because I mean, a lot of people, this may be the first NXT they ever watched, so I think it was a good introduction. I like the production factor of it. Stage was good.
The arena was packed.
Yeah,
it had twice as many people as AEW. It was a good overall show.
Tony Khan's going to be out there saying it was AI.
Yep, it was. Yeah. Yep, it was AI generated crowd. Don't fact check him. The ending of the Trick Williams match kind of was dumb to me.
Yeah,
I don't know if anyone else felt the same way, but you know how he got out of Ethan's finisher, hugged CM Punk real quick, and then hit a weak version of his own finisher, and then got the 3 count. It was like, that was stupid.
I'm trying to think of who would be a good next feud, because I don't think we have any big names rumored to come into NXT, at least not non-tag teams.
Probably Obafemi, because unfortunately they're probably going to move him right up. I doubt they'll belt him, but that's the only one I can.
Obafemi loses the North American title and moves up.
Yeah.
I really think NXT needs a Money in the Bank or Royal Rumble type show. Like, they need something for that brand where they can do that, like its own set thing.
They have the breakout tournament for their Money in the Bank contract.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like
they had War Games, but the main roster stole that.
Not anymore.
Yep, jacked it.
Yep. They're like, "Oh, you guys are doing it. We're gonna screw it up."
This is ours now.
Actually, it could be Pete Dunne versus Trick Williams once again.
Yeah.
I
wish they would do a joint weekend event with NXT and WWE in the same place in November, and have NXT do War Games and the main roster do War Games.
Yeah,
but even incorporate TNA do it. They're doing a pay-per-view at WrestleCade, I believe it is, in North Carolina later this year. And you could, if you could run a 3, you could do, unfortunately, with what happened to them. But
yeah,
you could have TNA, NXT, and the main roster WWE in that, and put them in. You don't want to do like WCW did with the multiple stages in the cage, but you could fit. I not even 3 rings. You don't want to do that, but just you could fit maybe even like 3 teams of 4 or something like that.
I would like to see more of that, because you remember when they did the crossover matches, maybe it was Survivor Series, where they did the 3-ways with that had NXT and main roster champions. Yeah, like more of that.
I would love to see them do a match like WCW did. I don't know if it wasn't War Games, but they had 3 rings, and it was like 2 battle royals started on the outside rings, and then once it got to like 2-on-2 or something, they moved to the middle ring. It was freaking nuts.
Super something.
Supercade or
yeah,
I can't remember.
That's like what AEW does with the Royal Rampage, except they use 2 rings.
Maybe it was Super Brawl.
World War III.
World War III. Yeah.
We talked about that a few months ago.
Yeah,
we did.
Yeah. Yep.
See how much I love that match. I bring it up again.
Yeah, throw it in there. Why not? But no pyramid of cages. No.
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, they could do a like a Halloween Havoc and have an electric chair match.
Oh God.
Throw back to like 1992.
Oh God. It's definitely got to be something where people can do it. I would just like to see NXT talent in either the Royal Rumble and the Money in the Bank match, and NXT talent to win one of those matches. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that would be this year.
Yeah, that would be different. How do we feel about the Julia match last night? Good introduction for people who haven't seen her, or
no? They had no chemistry whatsoever. What Julia did with Chelsea Green was much better than this.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. I'm not sure if she's going to be the one to dethrone Roxanne. I'm leaning more towards it being Stephanie now.
I do have to say, though, even though they didn't have chemistry, but the tag match, Fatal Influence versus Lola Vice and Jada Parker, NXT has the best women's division in all of professional wrestling.
Hands down.
Yep, no doubt. Yep.
The talent, we see it on the main roster a lot of like botches. We see it in NXT here and there, but there's less of it. They seem more athletic. They seem like they're actually into it more.
Yeah.
A lot of their promo skills could use some work, but their in-ring ability is there.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, some of them, their promos are not exactly the best, but like they have heart. I mean, those women really they give it their all. I like AEW has a good women's roster. They don't use them right, but I think NXT does a really good rotation with their women's roster as far as like how often they're on TV and stuff like that. Storylines, like they feel like legit competitors, almost equal to the men, and you don't even have that on the main roster.
Speaking of NXT women's division, somebody who hasn't been seen in a while finally made her debut or a return at a house show over the weekend.
Oh, I know who you're going to say.
Nikita Lyons.
Yep.
So I wonder, because she was back in the ring, she looked pretty good. I'm wondering if she's going to make her return in St. Louis.
Fantasy booking, one of my matches that I've been hoping ever since I heard about this collaboration was Nikita Lyons and Thick Mama Pump.
Yeah. Watching Nikita Lyon on Instagram when she's been training like kickboxing and regular boxing and like all that stuff, and she's a freaking beast.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, major contender. I and the fans love her obviously for her talent. So I think she has a lot of potential.
There are guys out there and fans that pay attention to that kind of stuff. But what her in-ring, her massive talent, exactly.
Massive talent.
Torn in Twitch chat. But yeah, her ability and athleticism is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, she can move. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's easily a contender for. I don't think they'll shoot her up to the main picture like immediately for a title, but I could definitely see her coming in and just dominating and knocking out that North American Championship just to get something on her.
I just hope in her time off she figured out a better finisher than her split pin.
Yeah.
That's the only downfall to her in-ring abilities is her finisher.
Yeah. So hopefully there'll be something different. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think this new era of NXT is going to be really good. A lot of potential. Definitely being treated like a serious brand, which is why, you know, I've been saying, lots of people have been saying for a while now that there should be a good secondary NXT show. The brand can support one now, obviously. So they could easily have a secondary show, you know, Level Up or whatever, which is going away from what I've heard. But like,
no, they still got it on Peacock at 10. They're moving it to 10:40, I believe, on Fridays instead of 10:20.
Yeah, I read somewhere, I think we talked about it, September 20th was the latest, was that Level Up was being axed, was something we heard, but then Fightful Select came back and said that they're going to continue broadcasting it. So it'll be interesting to see.
So I was able to find it online to stream it. Like, it wasn't like a legitimate streaming source, but like they don't, unless you, from what I've seen, unless you watch it live and you can't find it online, you're not going to be able to watch it.
Yeah. I mean, even like, I don't know why CW couldn't pick it up and run it on like a Saturday night or something. You know, the network, I mean, as far as their network goes, that's all they got. So, I mean, run it on the weekends, give them a secondary show.
Before they signed NXT, I was like, CW is still a channel?
I remember it back when it was the WB.
Yeah.
Or I remember when it was UPN.
UPN, NX, or the WB. Before that, it was a religious channel.
Yeah, it was a local thing here before. Yeah.
Because they used to have like the 700 Club,
yep.
Which I used to hate because I grew up in Virginia Beach and literally like right down the street from my house was Regency University, which is where they filmed the 700 Club. And Pat Robertson was like the most hated person in the area.
Not much ever changed. Yeah.
Nope.
They got massive contracts with, I believe it is the ACC and some other college conferences, and they also have the Live Golf contracts. So they're trying to build the sports that they showcase more over there. So I think you'll see them up and coming, especially with, I believe they had on NXT, they showed some of the, I think some of the superstars from NXT at a college football game this past weekend.
I am hoping that they'll work something out with streaming of SmackDown and NXT because Netflix, obviously Raw will be easy. But for people wanting to watch like SmackDown and stuff live, or at least like the next day, like there's no easy way to do it. So I'm hoping that at some point they'll figure that out. Because a lot of people aren't happy about it. I've seen people saying they're not going to watch anymore, but people say that about everything. But hopefully they'll figure that out.
Fucking cancel culture.
Pathetic. But Triple H said that that they hope to get everything over to Netflix for 80% of the world to be able to view all the WWE content on that place. I don't know when that is, though. I think they have to wait for this NBC Universal deal to expire with Peacock before they move it over there. But supposedly they're supposed to move it over there eventually. When that happens, though, I do not know.
I like how WWE has its own hub on Peacock. So it's because I don't think I watch anything else on there. So it's easy to just tab over to WWE and then everything is sorted neatly, like documentaries, in-ring, stuff like that. Like I really like the sorting on Peacock. I'm sure Netflix could do that if they got it. It's not just programming, but like I hope that if it goes anywhere else, it keeps that formatting because it's really easy to find stuff.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm going to miss the Peacock music like pay-per-view. The hold music before it starts. It's kind of got a nice
hold music.
They do that on other shows. It's not just the WWE thing. They do anything live streamed. They have that lead.
Okay, good. Good. Okay. I was hoping so. Did you guys watch Heels on Stars?
It's on Netflix now.
It's on Netflix now for those who haven't.
I got to watch the last season. It got canceled, but that's why I got kicked off of Stars. I wonder if Netflix is because it just got canceled last year. After the second season came out. So I wonder if Netflix is going to revive it. Because there's a lot of shows that Netflix ends up getting that gain a whole lot of popularity that they should be doing.
That's why I was excited whenever they brought Tacoma FD over to Netflix after it got canceled, because a lot of people were like, I've never seen this show. And I was like, I was watching this live. This show rocks. But now people on Netflix are like, this is a really good show. So that's one good, because that happened with that other show, that airplane show. Was it Manifest?
Yeah, Manifest, where they were gone for like 2 hours, but they were really gone for like 4 years.
Yeah, and then they gave them another season on Netflix to like finish out the story or whatever. Yep. So I hope they do that with Heels. If you haven't watched it, it's a really freaking good show. And then Iron Claw, I don't know if you guys watched that. That's over on Max now. The movie about the Von Erichs.
Yep. Oh, yeah. That's on Max?
It's on Max now. Yeah, you can stream that over there now.
That's the only streaming service I don't have.
Did you guys hear that? Did you guys hear that MJF's going to be in Happy Gilmore too?
Yeah, I saw that.
That comes out in November.
Yep, he's going to be one of Adam Stanley's kids.
That movie got done quick because they just announced that earlier this year, and it's already coming out in November.
Yeah. I don't know. There's some movies that are so iconic that I don't know, like, that you could do a sequel with, like Billy Madison or something. Like Anchorman is one of my all-time favorite movies. And when they came back with a sequel, like 15 years later, I was like, oh, really? But it was actually pretty good.
They could do Billy Madison goes to college.
Yeah. I hope that it's not forced, because Happy Gilmore is like my favorite Adam Sandler movie. So I'm hoping that they didn't screw it up.
They can't do Billy Madison too. Chris Farley's not there to take his shirt off.
It's over. Yeah.
Yep, can't do it.
Yep, it's done. No reason.
Even if they make it, can't watch it.
So I guess that's about it on our end. We got the pay-per-view coming up this weekend and SmackDown Friday. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeet. Got any predictions for Bad Blood at all?
Well, let's pull up the card.
Yeah.
We've got who's main eventing? Is it
that's a good question.
Bloodline. All right, we'll start at the bottom, work our way up. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. Does Rhea get the belt back?
No.
I hope not. But I don't know. I could see Raquel possibly turning on Liv, seeing they were tag team partners, but I don't know.
Yep. I see that feud happening.
Yeah.
Okay, Damian Priest and Finn Balor. Does the Demon return?
No, but I see Priest defeating Balor in that one.
Yeah, that one's
he's got to get his win back for sure.
Easily. Yeah, I think that's a pretty easy one. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre in the Hell in a Cell.
I got Punk.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Punk.
Yeah. Nia Jax versus Bayley. I think Nia's going to retain. I don't know why Bayley would need the title.
Will we see a cash in though?
Yes, absolutely.
I see Nia winning and then Tiffy cashing in.
Yeah. Because neither of them need the belt to continue their story. Nia got it and had it, and she's been a good champion. Bayley's had it before. She doesn't need it again. Tiffy's got the case. Go for it.
And then with Nia teasing that she was talking trash to Tiffy a couple times over the last few weeks and seeming like she's annoyed with her, I think Tiffy's going to definitely cash in.
So Cody and Roman versus the Bloodline. First, do we think Paul Heyman will accompany them to the ring?
No.
Oh.
Do we think The Rock comes back, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we see a surprise debut of Tala Tonga?
No, because I thought he's being added to NXT.
Yeah.
What I think's going to happen now that we have Brock listed on the roster again on the website, I see Paul Heyman making his return with Brock Lesnar.
Oh,
they have history there too.
Oh,
and Brock wants to beat up the Bloodline for attacking Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
Paul Heyman's going to run out of breath
into it all.
I could see that. That would be a good way to tie them in.
Fantasy booking.
The thing that I have been torn with on this one is that Cody and Roman winning is the obvious pick. But you can't bury Temu Bloodline. So
the wish line?
Yeah. It's got to be kind of a screwy finish, I think.
The Rock could just make it a no disqualification match. He just like how he did at WrestleMania. Say, you work for me. If they can't cheat, we can.
Yeah.
I'm torn in our Twitch chat. I see Jacob turning on Solo, but I don't think we're there yet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna see that come Survivor Series at War Games.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned War Games. I want to see what you guys think about this. So obviously Cody's world's going to come crashing down on him eventually between Orton, Owens, and Roman. Do we think that they are possibly a War Games team together, and then at the end of the match, just RKO beats him up and Roman walks out of the ring possibly, and that's how we get one of those matches?
That's how we get the KO and Cody feud. I could see that.
Either one of them attacking him.
Yep.
Or Jimmy Uso.
Yeah. Whenever we see him again, we don't know.
But is Jimmy going to come back as part of the bloodline? Or is he going to come back to Raw to feud with Jay for the IC title?
No, I think he'll come back as a face.
Also, there's the stuff with Zilla and the GCW events. So,
yep.
He's been on a lot of indie shows recently.
He just canceled every single upcoming booking, though.
Yeah.
Every single one. There's no indie dates on his calendar ever again.
It's going to cause bad blood.
Snap.
I wonder if they're using that. Have they announced what song it is?
Yeah, it's Future. I think they're going to be the Future song that they've been playing.
You know, the major missed opportunity that they could have used for this.
Which one?
You guys don't have teenage children. It's Taylor Swift's song. Bad Blood.
You could have him come out. Taylor Swift for Men come out to that.
I liked. I don't think they're gonna top the Bash in Berlin song. I mean, that's like since then. It's not gonna get any better than that.
No, that was perfect.
It's funny you say that, Jay. You know what I was thinking about today, and it has to do with Taylor Swift and wrestling. So we got the different songs for SmackDown and NXT, and people are complaining about it because it's not their genre of music. I know people are mad because it just doesn't appeal to them, but they're trying to get a different crowd. So I was thinking at the same time, if you did one show each way, would they try to attract that Taylor Swift crowd and put her as an entrance theme for one of the shows to try to attract that crowd into it?
She does a live appearance at WrestleMania next year.
Hey, anything to get the people in.
Roman does a karaoke performance of Never Getting Back Together to the Temu Bloodline.
Or Solo. We can hear Solo sing the national anthem and then do that.
Finally.
We've been waiting so long for this.
As long as Jacob follows up with God Bless America.
Oh, absolutely glorious. Oh my gosh. Is SmackDown in Atlanta this week?
I don't know. I don't think it's at State Farm if it is.
Let's see. Where is our next one?
I like the way that they're doing these shows though, because we have good matches on Friday with the dumpster match, and then we got they're doing all these title matches because Triple H doesn't want to keep putting over 5 matches on the PLE to put them on the next night of Raw. So we're basically getting three nights and 3 shows within 4 days of PLE quality stuff.
SmackDown is in Nashville on Friday.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you going to that, Chad? That's right around. I know. Going there a lot.
Not too far. Interesting. We may have to see. They haven't added any events for our state yet. I've been looking at the upcoming schedule and nothing really coming to us for a while. I think maybe they're building up for us finally getting a pay-per-view 22 years later.
Friday at 10 a.m. Cody Rhodes is doing a meet and greet in Nashville.
Wow.
Interesting. Okay. I know we've got some close ones, but nothing here. I bet it'll probably be next year in like the beginning of the year. It seems like we always get like early year shows.
January. Well, that's when they were there for Raw last. Was late January, I believe.
Yeah, I think
February possibly.
That'll probably be the next one. Raw will be in St. Louis in October.
They're going to be in St. Louis next Tuesday too for NXT.
Did y'all see the Oasis tour dates for North America got announced?
No.
Yeah, the closest one we have is Chicago. So they're doing Toronto. These are in August 24th, Toronto, August 28th, Chicago, August 31st, East Rutherford, New Jersey, September 6th, Los Angeles, and September 12th, Mexico City. That's it.
That sounds right around SummerSlam for East Rutherford. That's within a few weeks of it, probably.
Yeah.
The theme song for SummerSlam will be
Wonderwall.
Yeah, Wonderwall, maybe. I'm trying to think of a more be yourself. Yeah. We'll find a good one. So I guess that's all we got for this week. You guys have anything else?
I know you guys will like this one. Logan Paul finally had his child.
Yeah.
I need to mention that one to you, Jason. Seeing you've been hyping it up now for a few months.
Woo woo!
Y'all see the have you seen the video, the Jake Paul videos?
No.
Oh, the ones where he's like making like has the fat suit on and shit.
Yeah. There were people on Twitter that were like, "Man, he gained a lot of weight," and I was like, "That fat suit doesn't have nipples."
Oh, he said he got no nipples.
I'm like, I don't know. It's gonna. I'm gonna watch that. I mean, I really hope Mike Tyson just obliterates, but you never know.
Real quick, because Mike mentioned it earlier. P. Diddy. Did you guys see that 50 Cent 10 years ago funded a documentary about Diddy? And that Netflix is about to buy it because it's all about what Diddy's actually going through now. And because a lot of people in Hollywood already knew Diddy was who he is, but 50 Cent and Diddy hate each other so much that 50 Cent funded a whole documentary about Diddy that is going to be coming. And literally, no bullshit of a lie, it's called Diddy Do It.
He calls him the diddler all the time on Instagram and stuff. But they're both from New York, and that's one of the reasons why they got problems. So that's why he knows, and he's had problems with him for years. And it's funny. It's funny you say this because he went bankrupt around that time. So I wonder if he hates this man so much that he invested that much money into this documentary that he went bankrupt over it. I know he got it back with crypto stuff and the effing vodka and everything. But
no telling what Netflix will pay for that. Oh my! If it's got the goods, limitless.
From what I've seen, is not Netflix is gonna buy it. Netflix is already in negotiations to pretty much air it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! I wonder if there's sensitive stuff in it, they can be kept from like airing it. Perhaps if there's like witnesses or something in it, I would be curious about that.
Depends when it was recorded.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
50 Cent is freaking hilarious. He's taken over my TikTok feed. He is so.
I saw one today that Project Pat is a preacher now, a Southern rapper. I don't know if you guys remember those days, early 2000s. Yeah.
Bok, chicken. Bok.
Okay,
chicken.
Thank you. Yeah. Mike, that was a little before your time.
I was gonna say, well, you were mentioning that. I'll show this on the camera. I don't know if you can see it. That's a picture of me and 50.
Oh
what?
Shit! I met him when I did gaming journalism stuff and whatnot years ago. I met him and Floyd Mayweather. They owned a headset company together, and they were at CES in Las Vegas. So I ended up getting invited to go to CES, and I got to meet them. 50 Cent is so amazing, so nice,
dude.
Well, I think that I guess that runs the gamut of all our topics today. So thanks for tuning in for wrestling and Diddy coverage and all the important things, the hard hitting stories that happen in the world. So thanks to everybody for tuning in. And we should be back soon to recap Bad Blood and run that down. And we will resume soon. See you later.